you. Next up is the Pledge of Allegiance from the Piedmont High School Air Force NJROTC. Please stand. Thank you. I need a motion to approve the agenda.
Madam Chair, I have two changes to the agenda.
Okay.
I would like to ask that item 8S on the consent agenda be pulled off. And what a place of your choosing.
I'll put it on
10B. I also have an addition of a proposed policy change that I would like to submit to the policy committee, and that is entitled Sexually Explicit Subject Matter. And again, a place of your choosing. 10C. And I'll make a motion the agenda be approved as amended.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Is that 9-0? Okay. Thank you. Next up is the swearing in of elected members. Wendy Maynor is here to do the oath of office for 5 of us. First up is John Kirkpatrick. Mm-hmm. Oh, she can't vote. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Would you like them to hold the Bible? Yes. All right. Left hand on the Bible. Raise your right. You can hold on to it right here. Yeah. I, John Jamal Kirkpatrick IV, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States, so help me God. I, John Jamal Kirkpatrick IV, do solemnly and sincerely swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the state of North Carolina and to the constitutional powers and authorities which are or may be established for the government thereof, and that I will support, maintain, and defend the Constitution of said state, not inconsistent with the Constitution of the United States, to the best of my knowledge and ability, so help me God. I, John Jamal Kirkpatrick IV, do solemnly swear that I will well and truly execute the duties of the office of member of the Union County Board of Education according to the best of my skill and ability and according to the law. So help me God. Congratulations.
Next is Gary Sides.
Gary, you stand right here. He wants you to take the camera. All right. Left hand on the Bible, raise your right. I, Gary Marshall Sides, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States, so help me God.
I will.
I, Gary Marshall Sides, do further solemnly and sincerely swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the state of North Carolina and to the constitutional powers and authorities which are or may be established for the government thereof, and that I will support, maintain, and defend the Constitution of said state, not inconsistent with the Constitution of the United States, to the best of my knowledge and ability, so help me God.
I will.
I, Gary Marshall Sides, do further swear that I will well and truly execute the duties of the office of member of the Union County Board of Education according to the best of my skills and abilities, according to the law, so help me God.
I will.
One more. I'll get one back to you.
Next up is Sandra Green.
Left hand on the Bible, raise your right. I, Sandra HernandezGreen, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States, so help me God.
I will.
I, Sandra HernandezGreen, do further solemnly and sincerely swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the state of North Carolina and to the constitutional powers and authorities which are or may be established for the government thereof, that I will support, maintain, and defend the Constitution of said state, not inconsistent with the Constitution of the United States, to the best of my knowledge and ability, so help me God.
I will.
I, Sandra HernandezGreen, do further swear that I will well and truly execute the duties of the office of member of Union County Board of Education according to the best of my skill and ability and according to the law, so help me God.
I will.
Congratulations. Yes, ma'am. One more.
I know.
Yes, we'll get it. Once it's locked in. Thank you, dear.
I'm next.
This way. Right there. Left. Right. I, Kathy Messel-Heintel, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States, so help me God.
I will.
I, Kathy Messel-Heintel, do further solemnly and sincerely swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the state of North Carolina and to the constitutional powers and authorities which are or may be established for the government thereof, that I will support, maintain, and defend the Constitution of said state, not inconsistent with the Constitution of the United States, to the best of my knowledge and ability, so help me God.
I will.
I, Kathy Messel-Heintel, do further swear that I will well and truly execute the duties of the office of member of the Union County Board of Education according to the best of my skills and ability and according to the law, so help me God.
Thank you.
Next up is Reverend Jimmy Benson.
All right, left hand on the Bible, raise your right. I, Jimmy H. Benson, Sr., do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States, so help me God.
I do.
I, Jimmy H. Benson, Sr., do further solemnly and sincerely swear that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the state of North Carolina and to the constitutional powers and authorities which are or may be established for the government thereof, and that I will support, maintain, and defend the Constitution of said state, not inconsistent with the Constitution of the United States, to the best of my knowledge and ability, so help me God.
I will.
I, Jimmy H. Benson, Sr., do further swear that I will well and truly execute the duties of the office of member of Union County Board of Education according to the best of my skill and ability and according to the law, so help me God.
I will do so.
Congratulations, board members. We will now move into the election of officers. There are 2 officer positions open this evening. We will begin with the chairperson of the Union County Board of Education. Nominations are now in order.
I'd like to nominate Kathy Heintel as board chair.
Second.
Kathy Heintel is nominated. Are there any further nominations?
Move the nominations be closed.
Second.
Okay. We will now take a vote. All those in favor of Ms. Heintel as the new Union County Board of Education chair, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Next up is the Vice Chair of the Board of Education. Okay.
Madam Chair, I would like to,
Okay,
the honor of nominating Reverend Jimmy Benson Sr. for the position of Vice Chair of the Union County Board of Education.
Second.
all those in favor? What? Oh, close, yes, we have to close. Gary got ahead of me, sorry. Good job, Gary.
Motion to close the nominations.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. All in favor for Mr. Jimmy Benson? All in favor? Aye. And 1 no. 8-1. Okay. Okay, next up is the John H. Crowder Service Award.
Good evening. Tonight we have Erica Quintero from Monroe High School, if she would come at this time. Now tonight we all will be receiving the condensed version of this phenomenal young lady. So I promise you there is so much more than what is printed on this paper. The late John H. Crowder spent more than 30 years serving the children of Union County. As a living tribute to him and his legacy, the Union County Board of Education awards the John H. Crowder Service Award every month to an outstanding high school student who is making a difference in their school and community. Students who receive this award are not only academically successful, but also have an established history of community service. Tonight, we award the John H. Crowder Service Award for December to a senior at Monroe High School. Erica Quintero is a student, athlete, and Air Force Junior ROTC cadet. She is also an integral part of the ROTC leadership team. This year, Erica rose to the highest rank of the Commander, North Carolina 931, Air Force Junior ROTC Corps of Cadets. She is constantly striving to become the best she can be. As a result, she has earned her place in the prestigious Kitty Hawk Honor Society, the Air Force's Global Honor Society. She displays stellar community leadership and service through her involvement in various school, community, and outreach programs while competing on multiple varsity sports teams. She's participated in a myriad of other community service events. They include One Blood, community parades, Veterans Day ceremonies, campus beautification projects, Color Guard, Union County Alliance for Children, and the Heart for Monroe's The Closet. Since her freshman year, she has worked more than 115 hours and 46 events. A tremendous amount, especially considering the 18 months that COVID restricted volunteering. As the Corps of Cadet Commander, her leadership by example has accumulated over 725 hours of service in our community this fall alone. Her work with One Blood, where she has led many blood drives to help the Union County community give life-saving blood, is perhaps her greatest single accomplishment. Erica is also a member of the Air Force's Junior ROTC's Awareness and Presentation Team. The team educates elementary and middle school students about social issues such as drug and alcohol education and staying in school. Her involvement in developing awareness and providing training on key social issues bring the school and the Cadet Corps favorable publicity and is valuable service to the community. Erica is considering the University of North Carolina, Greensboro. She plans to major in engineering with a long-term goal of being an Air Force pilot. Board members and those that are present tonight, please join me in congratulating Erica Quintero as the December 2022 recipient of the John H. Crowder Service Award.
That's amazing. Next up is Dr. Harris for influencers. Oh, there he is. Thank you.
Good evening. We are pleased to recognize two outstanding employees who have been named the UCPS Influencers for December 2022. This program celebrates the passion, dedication, and hard work of UCPS employees. Each month, our staff members, students, families, and community members nominate a UCPS employee to be recognized for the positive influences they've had on our organization. Each honoree will receive an Amazon gift card. Additionally, Honda of Indian Trail has partnered with UCPS to provide discounts at a dealership and a meal for the instructional winner and the entire school staff. Tonight, I am honored to present Miss Jennifer Henson, Exceptional Children's Pre-K teacher at Waxhaw Elementary School, and the non-instructional winner, Mary Fernandez, a data manager at Rockrest. I will now invite the nominators to the podium to read the submissions and recognize our honorees' accomplishments.
Sorry. All right. Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Madeline Thompson. I work at Waxhaw Elementary. I was Jen's TA for 3 years, and I have nothing but good things to say about her. She's one of my best friends, but all right, let me get to the point of it. What I wrote is I said, Jennifer inspires me every day to be the best that I can be. Not only is she an amazing teacher who puts her students' needs above her own, but she's also an amazing friend. She comes in early and stays late to ensure that things run smoothly, not only for her classroom, but for her teammates as well. She is one of the first to offer help, suggestions, or whatever it may be. One thing for sure is that you can always count on Jen to do whatever it takes for her team, her school, and for her kids to succeed as well. And best of all, she does it with a smile on her face. She is awesome.
Good evening. I'm Megan Gatelius. I'm an exceptional children's teacher at Rockrest Elementary. Mary Fernandez runs our front office, and not just runs it, commands it. She helps with all the bookkeeping needs and so much more. She helps me with translating very important information for my IEP meetings to parents that don't speak English. And she is very sensitive to those parents' needs and misunderstandings, and she eases their minds with her real-life explanations and examples to make sure that they are informed as well. She handles all the front office drama with ease, and she has even gives a much-needed pep talk to anyone. And she knows all the students and their families. So if you have any questions or they have any needs, she knows all about it. She has relationships with most of them. She is charismatic, joyful, and she inspires me.
Thank you. I will now read the UCPS Influencers Proclamation for the Board of Education and Dr. Houlihan. Whereas the Union County Board of Education values the hard work of each employee within the district, whereas performance is an essential part of district operations, whereas Jennifer Henson and Mary Fernandez exemplify the performance, dedication, and teamwork essential to the success of the district and its students. Now, therefore, the Board of Education for Union County Public Schools and Dr. Andrew G. Houlihan, Superintendent, hereby proclaim Jennifer Henson and Mary Fernandez as the UCPS influencers for the month of December 2022. Thank you very much. Sorry, I'm in your way.
Next up on the agenda is public comments. At every regular meeting of the board, up to 60 minutes have been allotted for public comments. The board will not respond to public comments. However, a member may ask that the board obtain clarification. Residents, parents, students, and employees of the district will receive priority on the list of speakers. If a speaker is not present when his or her name is called, the opportunity to speak will be considered waived. Only persons signed up may speak. Speakers may not give their time to another person or have someone speak on their behalf. Individuals may address the board for a maximum of 3 minutes. The board will not hear in open session complaints about the performance of school personnel issues, confidential student issues. Should a speaker wish to seek information or share items that may not be shared during public comments, our staff are available to address your concerns or provide information. Dr. Bashan Harris, Assistant Superintendent for Human Resources, Colin Moore, Assistant Superintendent for Administration and Operations, and Jared McCraw, Assistant Superintendent of Student Services, are here to assist. Okay, the first speaker is Brady Howell.
Hello, board. My name is Brady Howell. I'm a junior at Cuthbertson High School, and I'm the vice president of the Cuthbertson Speech and Debate team. Last semester, I took a class that changed my life, speech and debate. I fell in love with the art of debate and wanted to compete in competitions. With the help of 2 other students, we formed the first speech and debate team at Cuthbertson in over a decade. Our leadership within the team has brought success to our school and gave members valuable life skills such as hard work, communication, and critical thinking skills. Cuthbertson students have placed 9 times across 3 separate tournaments, and we had the most points earned per student at the Asheville Cougar Classic Tournament. But we have traveled to these competitions alongside Porter Ridge's speech and debate team. But all this traveling has come at a cost. Tournament and travel fees are solely reliant on the students, which cost prohibitive to even more students being able to participate in this outstanding and rewarding program. The first tournament, which took place at North Mecklenburg High School, cost over $700, so it was $42 per student. This is one of our closest competitions too. As of right now, there are only 2 schools with active speech and debate teams, Cuthbertson and Porter Ridge. We believe that speech and debate is a critical club that should be available at every school, as well as offered and to be taught at every school in the county. Debate teaches useful skills for other academic pursuits as well as life. Most obviously, debaters build confidence, speaking in public and expressing their ideas eloquently. That confidence of speaking in public in front of others is useful in so many areas of life, like interviews, school presentations, and asking your school board to fund your debate program. A stunning 98% of debate students attend college. Debate participation increases the chances of being offered college scholarships. Debate on college resumes is an excellent way to show commitment and passion because administration officers know how much work goes into debate and how much it can prepare a student for college. Nelson Mandela, Margaret Thatcher, Oprah Winfrey. What do all these people have in common? They did debate while in school. Debate gives students a rare opportunity to take ownership of their own intellectual development. And throughout the years of practice and competition, debate builds lifelong friendships and communities, as well as teaching teamwork. In conclusion, speech and debate programs have allowed students to develop life skills that will help them forever and make new friends and be a part of a community. I urge you to give real consideration into funding speech and debate programs across Union County, and as well as fund individual teams for competitions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I'd like to ask for a clarification, please. And perhaps this is best directed to Dr. Houlihan. Who would be the appropriate staff person to check into the feasibility of either supplemental funds for this year or to include in the budget for next year, what it would entail to fund these various debate clubs?
So that is something that I'll ask Ms. McLean to do some research for. And as we work through the budgeting process, we can bring that information to the board.
Thank you.
Next up is Deb Helms.
Good evening. Good to see all of you. Just wanted to come tonight and congratulate the new board members and the re-elected board members who are here. You all went through COVID with us. You went through some of the hardest times that any school board has ever had to go through, and you carried it very well. And I was so happy to see that all of you ran for re-election. Sandra sat beside of you as a mom, frustrated, shaking our feet out here angry. Glad to see that you've brought your conservative values to that side of the table and you're going to be there. Reverend Benson, you were the first one to make the motion to take the masks off our kids, so thank you. Gary, you have represented District 3 very well, and I'm thankful to have you there. Kathy, your legal expertise through that proved to be very valuable, and thankful to have you back on the board. To Matt, Joe, and Sarah, you went through it. You've got 2 more years of it, but you guys held it well. Kirkpatrick, as much as I would personally love to see a fully conservative board, it is helpful to have an alternate opinion on the board to bring different ideas and different perspective to the conversations. So just wanted to congratulate you all, thank you all, and encourage you that 2023 we can start and we can make some great progress with the schools and not have to focus on COVID anymore. And my family appreciates every single one of you and your contribution. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Delwin Archer.
Good evening. The Cuthbertson Middle School Pride 365 Club is Union County's first GSA. It stands for Gay Straight Alliance, or Genders and Sexualities Alliance Club at the middle school level. This club promotes the acceptance and very likely the celebration of lifestyles that do not honor God. While all men are created equal, our behavior in defiance of God's truth, the Bible, has severe consequences for both the offender and all those within their sphere of influence. These clubs need to stop in Union County, at least at the middle school level and below. The word of the Lord, the truth, in love, with respect, from Romans 1. The wrath of God is being revealed from heaven against all the godlessness and wickedness of people who suppress the truth by their wickedness. God's invisible qualities, his eternal power and divine nature have been clearly seen, being understood from what has been made, so that people are without excuse. For although they knew God, they neither glorified him as God nor gave thanks to him. But their thinking became futile and their foolish hearts were darkened. Although they claimed to be wise, they became fools. Therefore, God gave them over in the sinful desires of their hearts to sexual impurity for the degrading of their bodies with one another. They exchanged the truth about God for a lie and worshiped and served created things rather than the Creator. Because of this, God gave them over to shameful lusts. I won't elaborate on those. Furthermore, just as they did not think it worthwhile to retain the knowledge of God, so God gave them over to a depraved mind, so that they do what ought not to be done. Although they know God's righteous decree that those who do such things deserve death, they not only continue to do these things, but also approve of those who practice them. We know that God's judgment against those who do such things is based on truth. God will repay each person according to what they have done. For those who are self-seeking and who reject the truth and follow evil, there will be wrath and anger. There will be trouble and distress for every human being who does evil, for God does not show favoritism. From Romans 3, for all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God, and all are justified freely by his grace through the redemption that came by Christ Jesus. God presented Christ as a sacrifice of atonement through the shedding of his blood to be received by faith. He did this to demonstrate his righteousness, because in his forbearance he had left the sins committed beforehand unpunished. He did it to demonstrate his righteousness at the present time, so as to be just and the one who justifies those who have faith in Jesus. The word of the Lord.
Next up is Aaron Muldoon.
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to speak. I'd like to congratulate the re-elected board members, John Kirkpatrick, Gary Sides, Kathy Heintel, Jimmy Benson, and our newest member, Sandra Green. Thank you for stepping up to serve our children, the teachers and parents of the county. I appreciate the time and effort you've given, and you will give going forward. I know that this is a sacrifice of your time. And I would just like to add tonight, with all the controversial subjects that we always have going on in our schools, I hope that our schools are a safe place for all of our children, both physically, mentally, emotionally. That being said, empathy and compassion go a long way. And if we could look into ourselves and imagine being in the shoes of another, we might see things differently and move forward with more important work that needs to be done in Union County schools. Kindness goes a long way. It's a great example for our children. And I just want to thank you all, and I look forward to the good work this board is going to accomplish.
Next is Richard Daunt.
Good evening, everyone. Great to see you all. I certainly echo Deb's sentiments about all of you, and I wanted to congratulate everyone who went through this recent election for winning their seat back, or winning a seat in the case of the newest board member, Sandra Green. Special congratulations to you. It's just so great to see a patriotic citizen, a patriotic mom, to get up here and participate in government. You know, it's an example of just the good things that can come when we react positively to adversity. So I wish the board all success in the coming years, and thank you.
Thank you. And I skipped Brittany Bolden.
No worries. Things have changed and I'll need glasses. Good evening. My name is Brittany Bolden. Almost 2 years ago, I stood at this podium for the first time. In preparing for this speech, I decided to look back at what I said then. Here's an excerpt. I am the Union County Chair of Moms for Liberty, an organization that is dedicated to fighting for the survival of America by unifying, educating, and empowering parents to defend their parental rights at all levels of government. First, I want to take a moment to thank every one of you who serve on this board. We just moved back to Charlotte in August and specifically chose Union County based on how this school board has handled the pandemic response. In what I imagine has felt like an impossible situation with Governor Cooper's mandates, we were able to get our kids back. You were able to get our kids back in school safely and with the least restrictive environment as possible. From the bottom of this mom's heart, thank you. I can honestly say that I'm even more thankful today than I was then. I knew then that UCPS was making decisions based on what was right for the students instead of blowing with the ever-changing political winds. Because of this, you made the right decisions during COVID with the data ultimately vindicating your calls. But making good decisions didn't just start with COVID. UCPS was already leading the way in North Carolina before COVID. One example is with the implementation of the Orton-Gillingham pilot program to address reading difficulties. This was way before phonics was even on the state board's radar. I have also witnessed your continuation of leadership in the wake of COVID. Some examples are implementing policy to protect against discrimination, making efforts to be transparent, showing a willingness to allow parents to address the board, and streamlining the process of challenging books. Other districts should take notice that when you prioritize students, teaching the fundamentals, and protecting parental rights, you have a recipe for success. Over the past year and a half, I have listened month after month as members of the community stand at this podium stating that they moved here for UCPS and then proceed to spend their entire 3 minutes explaining how they want to fundamentally change the very schools they moved here for. It's truly mind-blowing. Is UCPS perfect? Of course not. There's always room for improvement. Though, with my volunteer work, I have the privilege of getting to talk with parents, school board members, and policymakers from across the state and country. I can tell you that what we have at UCPS is special. There are parents far and wide who are stuck in a woke educational wasteland, schools who care more about teaching students to virtue signal than how to read. These parents would give anything to have a UCPS for their child to attend. Thank you. Congratulations to all of you that have been reelected. And Sandra, congratulations to you for getting elected.
Next up is Sally McAtee. Did I say that right? Yeah. Okay.
If there are any children, I would probably take them out if I were you. I'm here today to discuss Policy 51, Section 3A. This policy needs to be changed to reflect what is appropriate content for our schools' libraries. I have found very inappropriate books in every single district, elementary, middle, and high school. The following is one of your high schools here in Union County's books. This book is called This Book is Gay by Juno Dawson. Chapter 9, Doing the Sex. Age appropriate is 14 through 17 in accordance with your current policy. Two men can pleasure each other in a variety of ways. Number one, a handy. Perhaps the most important skill you will master as a gay or a bi man is the timeless classic, the hand job. The good news is you can practice on yourself. The bad news is each guy must become very used to his own way of getting himself off. Something that they don't teach you in school is that in order to be able to come at all, you and your partner may need to finish off with a handy. A lot of people find it hard to come through other types of sex. A good handy is all about wrist action. Rub the head of the cock back and forth with your hand. Try different speeds and pressures until he responds positively. A bad handy is grasping a penis and shaking it like a ketchup bottle. Finally, my misunderstanding about rubbing two peens together wasn't far off the mark. Number two, blowies, oral sex, is popping another dude's peen in your mouth or instead popping yours in his. There's only one hard and fast rule when it comes to a blowjob. Watch the teeth. As with hand jobs and breakfast eggs, all men like their blowjobs served in different ways. The term blowjob is massively misleading as you won't actually be blowing on the penis. It's more about sucking, although I stress you're not trying to suck his kidneys out of his urethra. It's more about sliding your mouth up and down the shaft of his cock. Letting a guy come in your mouth is a safe sex no-no. I'll spare you the section about anal sex and how to perform it properly. This is not appropriate for any age, and this is in your school system. It is age appropriate according to your policy for age 14 through 17. This is not appropriate content. Change the policy. Thank you.
Next up is Lily Oslander.
Hi, I would like to start off by saying that I was a proud member of the Cuthbertson Middle School's Pride 365 Club last year. Our president said there's no educator sexualizing, indoctrinating, or grooming us. Middle school is a time in many people's lives when we start questioning our gender and sexual identities, and clubs like these give us a space to do it. We have space to talk it out and learn coping strategies for these big feelings that we have. It gave us a space to talk to other people and know that we are not alone. That club was probably one of the spaces I felt safest and most able to be myself in that school. The teachers there were only ever concerned for our safety and making sure we all knew how to be safe and that we were not alone and felt comfortable being who we are. They never forced us to join, and this is not an agenda. A hidden agenda is defined as a secret or ulterior motive for the negative impact or the ability to influence the impact of a public group. We did none of that. This club is straightforward in what we are doing. We never impacted public groups. It was just those of us in the club. I also hope that you know this club was started by fellow students reaching out for help. It was started by students for students. Everything we discussed in those meetings was age appropriate. We would talk about safety, mental health, physical health, and small or large victories in our own personal lives. We would start every meeting by talking about the good things or the bad things that happened in our lives recently. And then we would talk about whatever topic we were discussing that day. While we would do coloring pages, make toiletry bags for homeless teens, or could color cards and other activities like that. Without clubs and support groups like these, many people would end up in unsafe situations. We are all here to come together and uplift one another. I hope everyone realizes this too. Middle school is one of the most important times in an adolescent's life. Our brain is changing and developing so much and so rapidly that we need things like this in our schools. It is not a class. It is simply an optional extracurricular activity because we have many people who care enough about their students to realize this is a necessity. We need many extracurriculars in our school to make it a well-rounded education, and this is just one of the many that school offers.
Thank you. Riley Loomis.
Good evening. I'm Riley Loomis. I'm a senior at Cuthbertson High School, and I'm a queer student. First and foremost, the pushes to have GSA shut down at schools, for me, is heartbreaking. I grew up in a middle school where we did not have the sense of community. I, as well as many of my peers, went through 3 years of our lives without any extracurricular sense of community. We did not have anything such as a GSA, and we often had to learn how to cope with learning about ourselves on our own. Sorry. The pushes to have Pride 365 shut down at Cuthbertson Middle, for me, I doubt will be beneficial to any students. I do believe many students that are discovering themselves to question their gender or to question their sexual identity, to be left alone and isolated. Furthermore, none of these communities, as far as I'm aware, especially in Union County, with the peers I have talked to, are aiming to groom, indoctrinate, or sexualize children. Sorry, hard topic. None of us have been exposed to sexual materials, such as pornography, or to books where we have read about such acts. I do believe that the removal of GSAs within schools will lead to more isolation in students and overall degradation of mental health. I do believe students need the resources to be able to talk to others like them. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Jen Sanders.
Good evening, Board of Education. I want to start by saying that with all the division in the world, I'm hopeful that we can continue to support all the 41,000 students, 5,000 staff members, in all 53 schools in our district moving forward. It's a new term for us all. In the world where there are so many things that people will not always agree on, for example, I'm Team USA, my British husband is all England. Between us, I don't think England's going to win the World Cup. Some people like spicy food. Some like two-story brick houses, the Cowboys versus Washington rivalry. These are choices people get to make. I wanted to share some numbers with you. Did you know that transgender and non-binary youth are 2 to 2.5 times more likely to experience depression, consider suicide, and even worse, actually attempt to unalive themselves? That number is even greater for our Black and brown youth. Our LGBT youth have a 37% higher risk of suicide. 36% report being physically threatened or harmed. 52% enrolled in middle and high school report being bullied in person or online. And a whopping 73% report discrimination from both their peers and their adults. I'm sharing these stats with you because no matter what your personal or religious beliefs are, it's important to give all of our kids the ability to have safe spaces. To have a school district that believes in them, that's you guys. To social spaces and support from friends, classmates, and teachers. This Pride Club is more than just a space for, quote, gay kids to hang out. Most kids that go to these are actually allies who know someone in their community. This group was started by the kids. They saw a need, they found sponsors, they filled out the forms, they made the mission statement themselves. Did you know they collected 110 pounds of toiletries to donate to the Monroe Homeless Shelter? That's the things that this group does. They do good things, just as I'm sure that the YCI Club does. Schools that offer youth clubs such as the GSA, YCI, Save Club, YRNF, and the YDA support positive, if you need those, let me ask, youth programs. Each of these clubs have their own focus and their value in their own way. We're not asking you to stop them. We're not asking you to interfere with that. All we're asking you is to allow the Pride 35 Club to continue. North Carolina, as of today on the news, is #1 in the country for hate crimes towards the LGBTQI community. We're asking that you don't add to that hate. Middle and high school is already hard enough. And I'm personally asking that you give lifelines to these kids and their families. Please be the district that we can all be proud of. Decisions are always. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Reagan Smith. Yes. Push the button.
There we go. Right. Okay. So, good evening, guys. With regards to this chatter about GSAs and Pride 365 trying to attempt to ban it, I am not a lawyer. I am a paralegal. So I tried to have a little bit of a look into this. Hopefully the board already knows. I know some of you have legal backgrounds, or if they've had legal counsel inform them of what has happened when a GSA or a Pride Club is attempted to be banned. So I wanted to direct you to the ACLU's website. The details all of these court victories. But the sad thing about it is that when a board makes the mistake of trying to illegally ban a GSA or a Pride Club, it usually costs the district a ton of money in legal fees. And there's a whole ream of these losses and what's happened. So I thought I was going to read those out to you in a minute. Okay, so some of these have been represented by the ACLU or Lambda Legal. 1999, East High GSA versus the Board of Education of Salt Lake City, Utah. The GSA won. The district had to pay attorney fees and court costs. 2000, East High School Prison Club versus Seidel, Utah. GSA won. The district had to pay attorney fees and court costs. 2002, Franklin Century GSA versus Franklin Township Community, Indiana. The GSA won. The district had to pay attorney fees. 2005, Palmer High School GSA versus Colorado Springs School District, Colorado. The GSA won. The district had to pay $90,000 in court fees and costs. 2008, Gonzalez through Gonzalez versus Board of Okeechobee County, Florida. The GSA won. The district paid $326,000 in attorney fees. 2009, the GSA of Yulee High School versus the Board of Nassau County, Florida. The GSA won. The district had to pay $40,000 of attorney fees. 2014, Carver Middle School GSA versus School Board of Lake County, Florida. The GSA won. The district had to pay $14,000 in attorney fees and court fees. The school board tried yet again to ban it, saying it didn't apply to middle schools. The 11th Circuit Court of Appeals ruled, yep, the EAA, the Equality Access Act of 1984 did apply to middle schools. So in 2016, Carver Middle School GSA wins again, and the school board of Lake County, Florida had to pay $13,180, bringing their total of legal follies to $27,180. So please don't go down this route. It's costs all of us taxpayers money, and bullying it's very expensive to fix, and it's just plain wrong. So I please, let's not talk about the city further because it's just a folly. Thank you.
Next up is Heather Oldland.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you all tonight. I am a UCPS parent, and I am here to talk about the Pride 365 at Cuthbertson Middle School. It's been brought up by a resident who doesn't even have a child in UCPS, and this resident wants the school to ban the Pride Club. So why is this club being singled out when there are numerous clubs at the middle school? Isn't this discrimination to single out a Pride Club? If parents do not want their child to attend the Pride Club, then that is their right. But they don't get to take away the parental rights of other parents who are okay with their child attending the club. So this club is voluntary and after school hours. No one is forcing students to attend the club. Don't like it, then don't go. What about the students that do want to be a part of this club, especially since it provides a safe place? The environment of school should be a safe place for all students. As parents and community members, we want all kids to feel like they belong. Our kids are not collateral. Knowing that some of our LGBTQ students are treated with hate and bigotry in this community, and then to ban a club that gives them a safe space is just heartless. The benefits of having a club like this for students is to help them feel welcome. It's important to remember the staggering statistics that I'm sure you have already heard from a previous speaker, that according to the Trevor Project, LGBTQ youth are more than 4 times as likely to attempt suicide than their peers, and it estimates that more than 1.8 million LGBTQ youth seriously consider suicide each year in the U.S. So if we are talking about protecting children, then this club is absolutely doing this. It could literally save a child's life. So this club should not be banned. Please take this into consideration before making any decisions. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Melissa Merrill.
She said she was going to come back.
Yep. Well, hello, everyone.
Hello.
I wanted to come tonight, and I wanted to just see what it's like to be on this side of the table. It's been 8 years since I've been out here, and I just wanted to congratulate each one of you for your being sworn in for 4 more years tonight. Reverend John Kirkpatrick, I just want to congratulate you and to your service for our community and all 41,000 students. Kathy, I'm extremely excited about your leadership on this board and for Union County Public Schools. I know you're going to do an amazing job. Gary, you have been at this. We were first sworn in 8 years ago in 2014. And I'm extremely excited that you are willing, and your wife and your son were here tonight supporting you for a 3rd term, and extremely exciting. And Sandra Green for District 4, I just want to say how excited I am for you to represent not only the Porter Ridge cluster, but all students in Union County Public Schools. And as a first-generation U.S. citizen, I'm even more excited about the perspective you're going to share and bring to the diverse and phenomenal Union County Public Schools and this board. Very excited to see you tonight. And last but not least, Reverend Jimmy Benson. Thank you so much for your wisdom that you bring not only to this board, but to our community and the friendships and the family that you bring us all together and everything that you do for this county. So I'm extremely excited for you, and thank you also to your sweet wife. There she is. So just so wonderful. Wanted to be here and just on behalf of the county commissioners and Commissioner Rushing, we just wanted to say thank you for serving, and we look forward to publicly working with this board to support what I believe and we believe is the best place to receive for students to receive a public education. Not just a public education, but the best education that I believe exceeds a private education. So Dr. Houlihan, I will miss working with you. I will miss working with this board, but I know that our friendships will go far beyond tonight. So congratulations. We look forward to working with you.
She also, folks, is not used to being on a timer.
I know, right? Next up is Y. Rickersham. Not here? Okay. So that's the end of public comment. I'm sorry. Next up is I need a motion to approve the November 1st minutes.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. 9-0. I need a motion for amended consent agenda.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you. Okay, let me catch up. Okay, next is the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good evening, board members. I want to again congratulate and welcome Sandra Green to the board, and to all of our board members who are returning, Kathy Heintel, Jimmy Benson, Gary Sides, and John Kirkpatrick, congratulations. And myself and our senior team look forward to working with all of you in the future. Since we last met, Union County voters approved a $134 million bond package. I want to publicly thank our community for supporting this bond. We are very excited for East Elementary and Forest Hills High School, who will have brand new facilities to look forward to. Our design process will be completed in early winter, and construction is expected to begin by the summer of 2023. We will have updates on our bond website as progress is made on each bond. Thank you again to our voters. Over the past month, we have celebrated several accomplishments across the district, including several regional and state athletic recognitions. I want to congratulate our athletes, coaches, and parents. In addition, this past Saturday was our high school programs expo at the Ag Center. I want to say a big thank you to our college and career readiness departments, our middle and high school principals, and our career development coordinators for organizing this event. We have a strong portfolio of career readiness and academy options for our high school kids, as well as 2 international baccalaureate programs that we offer here in UCPS, and very, very proud of that portfolio. Next, I want to acknowledge a member of our team who tonight is with us for the very last time. I want to say a big thank you to Dr. Jonathan Bowers, our Executive Director of Academics. Thank you for your service for Team UCPS as principal in multiple schools. The work you've done as a member of our senior leadership team, and Cabarrus County is certainly lucky to have you coming on board with them. So congratulations and thank you. He wasn't expecting that.
Our board thanks you as well.
And finally, we are just a few days away from winter break. I want to really encourage our staff and families to take time out, take care of yourself, enjoy your time with loved ones and friends. Our last day for students is Friday, December 16th, and we will be open again on Tuesday, January 3rd. Happy holidays. Thank you.
Next up is choice schools. Is anybody doing the presentation or no? Okay. So this, do you want to go through it? Or do we want to? So this came from policy, right?
Yes,
but it didn't come with a recommendation, so we're coming to the full board on this.
As you all know, board members, the policy regarding choice schools is that if schools are at 85% capacity or less than that, they can be considered for choice as a choice school. And the list that was provided to you in your materials, as well as you've got the list of schools that meet that, as well as the actual capacities, and for your review. And we've highlighted the ones on the capacity list that meet that criteria for the board's consideration.
Thank you. At the policy committee, I brought up some issues that we talked about, and that's why we didn't get a consensus about how we felt it. And in your board packets is the impact statements for all of the clusters. I would like to pull East off because they're going to be under construction, and keep the school where it is, because we're building a new East Elementary, but the East Elementary is going to stay there. And it's going to be a difficult construction project. The others are Rayview and Sandy Ridge. There's a lot of new construction and rezoning in that area, and they're at 84 and 85% of capacity. And to put more kids into it when there's new construction coming on. Monroe, there's an impact statement in there for Monroe. There's a lot of new construction going on in Monroe. So we have to keep looking at Monroe and Parkwood and Sun Valley. And the same with Monroe and Parkwood for high school as well. Those were my concerns. All the information is there. If you look at, I'm going to look at Monroe. As of right now, there's 2870 units that are to be built. And that is for Rocky River Elementary and Monroe High School and Monroe Middle School. Sandy Ridge and Marvin Ridge Middle School and High School are, 774 units, and that doesn't include, does that include, Sarah, it doesn't include the new subdivision?
No.
Right. At Gray Byram. So I just wanted to bring this to the full board. Does anybody else have any discussion about it? Because it makes me a little bit nervous.
As it currently stands, there's no capacity
cap or threshold once it reaches?
It's 85%.
85%, but
Yeah.
there's no stop to that. It can go,
It has to be 85% or less
but,
to be on school choice.
85% capacity, it does not qualify.
Right.
yeah.
If
But
it's-
if the school's at 85%, what's the cap?
There is
a cap.
none.
So could we add a cap?
The policy committee could certainly consider adding a cap to that. You all can decide the which.
He
schools
means
you-
like if it's 85% now, we've let so many kids for
You only
school
let
choice, you
state.
can't go above 90%.
Yeah, board policy says that at we cannot exceed 90% unless it's employees and siblings, I believe.
And once a student gets in for school choice, they're there until the next school, for middle school or high school. So we saw a little bit of that at Wesley Chapel Elementary School. It was a school choice and it was popular. And then there was a new subdivision at the airport roundabout, and it's at 133% capacity right now. So I'm just bringing it out because this can happen quickly and it makes me nervous.
I mean, I agree with what you're saying. With facilities, we always get these impact statements. And I do feel like the housing market has been booming and we're seeing more and more zoning that's coming our way. I mean, even Hemby Bridge is at 85%, but all the other elementaries in that cluster are full. So it is concerning.
I just wonder if we might want to consider getting with Dr. McKibben and his staff and looking at the impact of these developments that like you say, that have been approved and what that will do. So I'm concerned too, if someone's close to 85 and we push it to 90 and then all of a sudden housing development comes along, we're going to potentially shove people out of their own home district because of people that have come in by school choice. And you should always have, our whole idea has been neighborhood schools. So I wonder if using a demographer to give us take those impact statements and really plug in kind of longer term what's going to happen in these areas.
We've discussed this before in facilities, and we're still under contract with Dr. McKibben, so we could do that.
What, in the past, I don't quite recall, what is his turnaround time from when we tell him to go?
We'd have to talk to him about it.
I would suggest, or whatever the new constituted facilities committee looks
So-
like.
Mr. Moore could get back to us on that information.
Yeah. I
But
would
right-
really like to have his input before we
Right.
pull the trigger on this.
Can
if
we
possible.
hold off on school choice for a little while?
Do we?
Yes, I mean, we can do it however you want to. We have a calendar in place for the various options, the lotteries, et cetera. So we're going to have to shift that around, but we certainly will do as the board directs. The one thing I did want to apologize, it's 95% capacity, from at which point no transfers can be.
90
approved.
for, okay.
Yeah, I apologize for that.
That's your cap. Special cap.
What's the window when it's supposed to open?
Like tonight?
I believe it's the 12th of December. Yeah.
I don't think we're going to have him that quick. So,
Madam Chair, can you give us the list that you recommend taking off of choice?
the one that I just talked about,
I'm sorry, I didn't start writing.
East Elementary, Mrs. May said Hemby Bridge Elementary, Rayview, Sandy Ridge, Monroe Middle, Parkwood Middle, Sun Valley Middle, Monroe High School, Parkwood High School.
Could you just list the ones that are going to stay?
Okay, I'll go back and do that. Fairview, Prospect, Rock Rest, Rocky River. But I'm worried about Rocky River too because they have a lot. Well, Monroe has water and sewer. So they're annexing in stuff, so it's tough. Union, Walter Bickett, Wingate, East Union, Forest Hills, and Piedmont I left out.
Piedmont High.
Piedmont High. Piedmont High has a capacity way bigger than the middle school.
So we have two choices. We hold off until we find out when our demographer could put his pencil to it, or we move forward tonight addressing, culling down the list with the ones that we have concerns on already.
I would prefer to not do anything until we get some information. I don't like to make a decision when we don't have all the information in front of us.
I'll offer a motion that we table this subject until we have an opportunity to find out at least the time frame our demographer can put a study together to show us truly the long-range impact in these areas. I'll offer that motion.
Does anyone want to amend it or anything? No. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is that 9-0? Yep, okay. Where's my agenda? Too many papers.
Can I just make sure I understand that we're going to hold off on school choice right now? There's going to be no schools of choice. And then once you all have more information from the demographer, then you can make decisions as to whether this.
Oh, I thought we were talking about doing just these few. We're going to table everything.
Table everything. At the very least, until we find out the time for, Colin finds out the time frame for Dr. McKibben. Who knows, he might be booked up and he couldn't get to it until the summer. And then we're going to have to pull the trigger ourselves, make a decision. So my motion was to wait until we have at least information that our demographer can, in a reasonable time frame, provide this information. That was the intent of my motion.
Okay. Okay, so everybody's good? Okay, so next up, we voted. So next up is the academic calendar. Mr. Sides.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I would like to offer an alternative to the calendar provided in the consent agenda for the 23-24 school year. And I'll read my motion to seek second and approval by the full board. My motion is to adopt a calendar with the first day of school occurring on August 9th, 2023, providing for the 5 required or optional teacher work days before the first day of school. The first semester would conclude on December 14th of 2023. So the semester would conclude before the Christmas break. Second semester would begin on January 3rd, 2024, and the school year would end on May 22nd, 2024. Winter breaks will be 2 weeks beginning on the day after the end of first semester. Spring break will be 1 week, the first week in April. And this motion would be to direct staff to develop the full calendar following these parameters and provide that to the appropriate committee and or full board.
Second.
One question
So
for amendment also potentially. It's brought to my attention that our calendar doesn't necessarily align with federal holidays. So if we, like Columbus Day and Washington birthday, so people that work in Charlotte, maybe work for FBI or Homeland Security or something, they may be off, but their kids have to go to school that day.
that's going to be hard.
Yeah.
Right.
We struggle with that already, yes.
Yeah, they can look at it. I like this calendar idea. I think we should do it. Just for the parents in the room or listening, this would mean that the first year of this calendar next summer would be shorter than normal because we would be going back to school earlier than we normally do. So I think it's about 3 weeks shorter than what it would normally be.
So I would ask, a lot of families have probably booked summer vacations already. What are we going to do in that case where I think we need to have some type of leniency if, somebody's booked a beach trip for the first week in August and now all of a sudden they're supposed to be back in school, they've paid deposits. Can we provide any type of leniency in this first year for cases like that?
We can ask the staff to look into that if there's anybody else who's done that.
I have a question. Are we able to do this? I'm asking because I really want to, I think it makes sense, but I know we do not create the calendar for the year. Isn't this something that comes from the state?
They give us guidelines.
Yes, they
does.
did, but there's some districts last year that did this and nothing happened.
But what I'm saying is, again, I don't have a problem with it, but are we able, I mean, you can do what you want to do, of course, but we can do what we want to do. But are we legally able to do this without any backlash from the state?
I will say that we are not in compliance with the legislation with this calendar, but the legislation does not provide any type of penalty that we know of. Other districts have taken this lead, and I think as far as the students are concerned, this calendar provides them to conclude their testing, their end of semester testing in classes before the Christmas break. And as a parent of a high school student, I can personally attest of the learning loss, because I can promise you my son didn't take in his Chromebook with him to the beach over Christmas break. So I think this is academically the right thing to do.
Again, I'm not saying it doesn't make sense.
Right.
Attorney Morris.
Right.
Okay, here's a suggestion.
Okay.
We are going into closed session again, and we're going to be with our lawyer, and we can ask those questions. We could table this and then let staff get a draft of a calendar for next year, and next week we could have a meeting.
Gotcha. Okay.
How does that go?
Well,
A virtual meeting to approve what, you know.
well, that is my motion, is to ask staff
Right,
to
that's what I'm
develop.
saying.
Yeah.
Yes, I know it was your
So
motion.
this motion is not to say this is the calendar.
Right.
This is directing staff, because as I understand it, since this is not in compliance, the calendar committee was not able to offer this option. We have to direct them to offer this option and then see exactly what dates fall where and pull the trigger on it or not.
So we
All
can
this
have,
motion is doing is saying, staff, this is the parameters, show us how it works.
so then we can have a meeting next week.
Whenever Dr. Harris's calendar committee can put things together.
Is that something you could do? Yeah? Okay. I think it would be good to let parents know about it as quickly as we can do. Is it, okay?
Madam Chair, you had a motion and a second on the floor.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Gary, you're up again.
All righty. First of all, I'd like to say, for the remaining lady, I was hoping some more would stay around, but I want to make it very clear that the policy I am offering is not directed at the issue of the clubs that you spoke on. So I want to be clear about that first. That's entirely separate issue. And so that's not the intent of tonight's motion. What I am offering, and for those of you that are not familiar, the way the process works is a board member or members of the policy committee can submit a policy for consideration. Michelle vets it, the committee considers, and then it will come back for a first or second reading, depending on the situation, for the full board to vet it. If they have changes, send it back to the committee, and then eventually it is considered by the full board. So my motion tonight is not for a final vote by the board. It is to make a formal request of submitting this to the policy committee. Okay, I just want to make that clear for everybody joining us tonight that may not be familiar with the process.
I agree with that.
All right. My policy, I have working title of sexually explicit subject matter. And my motion is, and Donna, I have a copy for you, so you don't have to worry about missing parts of it. Any curriculum, media, literature, instructional materials, or services provided by an approved UCPS vendor or an interaction with a community organization or individuals involving sexually explicit content, including but not limited to provocative costumes, subject matter involving sexual orientation, gender identity, or gender affirming care other than healthy living sex education curriculum approved by the Board of Education is not permitted at UCPS.
Second.
Well, clarification. We don't really have a
He's-
second. It's just.
Right, he's
going
just
there.
sending it to policy, so that will
And-
go to policy.
Just so also with the new board, we don't have committees formed yet. So that's one of the things the chair works on. We have to actually set up who is the policy committee.
Yep.
And it will have to take its place in line. We have some other policies, as you'll see later on, are being worked on.
Okay.
So there's not a specific timeframe where I don't think anybody can promise, well, this will come back, but it goes into the pot. I am requesting it goes into the pot for consideration. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next up is policies for first review and administrative guidelines for first review.
Good evening, again, members of the board. There are 3 proposed revisions, and actually 2 proposed revisions and 1 proposed new policy for review by the board. If there are any questions regarding any of those, I can try and answer those tonight. Thank you.
No. Next up is comments from board members. Anyone? No?
So Sandra, it wasn't that bad, was it? Sandra has a little case of pregame jitters, her first time at bat. So me and Jimmy are over here kind of, if she passes out one way or another, we're going to catch her. So. Well, I'm not going that. But anyway.
Okay,
I just wanted to welcome Sandra to the board.
yes,
And
thank you.
congratulations, everybody that was reelected.
Yes. And thank you very much for your trust in me as chair. I appreciate it. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Madam Chair, I want to say we look forward to the benefit of your leadership and your guidance. You have worked extremely hard these many years. I know that you're one that, when you're getting praise, you're doing what you're doing, kind of putting your head down, but you can hold your head up high and know that we just didn't vote for you simply out of a formality, but we believe in you and we look forward to working along beside you over this next cycle. And, congratulations to those that were reelected and elected to the board. And we look forward to a great time.
Thank you. I have big shoes to fill. And does anyone have announcements?
Oh, and Madam Chair?
What? We don't have committees, okay. So every board member email me what committees you want to be on. Let me know by next Monday. Is that good? And that's it. I need a motion to adjourn.
Madam Chair?
What?
Closed session.
Yes, we don't. Oh, Jimmy's talking,
Oh,
sorry.
she's still here. It was a pleasure to have our former chair in the House. Let's give her a hand.
Yeah. Need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn to closed session.
So move to closed session.